Hello and welcome to Focus Asia. From our studios in Hong Kong, I'm Joe Kynes. We start tonight's program on the topic of international adoptions. More than 20,000 take place every year, and for most parents they bring great joy. But baby traffickers and bogus agencies are increasingly preying on birth parents and those hoping to adopt by offering shortcuts to the adoption process. Developing countries in Asia are affected the most. In January, Vietnamese authorities decided to set up a national adoption agency to try to stamp out the illegal baby trade. But as Susan Yu reports, don't expect changes overnight.
Nothing, okay.
Here we go, go!
Just a little tickle?
Mommy.
No.
Little tickle?
No.
Just a little tickle?
Woo!
I guess probably the emotion I felt the most was just proud of the fact that I could be a father.
I'll be a snapping turtle. Ready? Snap, snap.
It was a great feeling. Just, I'm sure much like a birth mother feels the second she gets to hold hers.
Sherry and Ben appreciate every moment they have with their children. They're adoptive parents of 2 girls and a boy.
Were there any challenges you faced with their adoption?
Definitely. You know, it seems oftentimes as a Westerner living in Asia and going through a process like this that the rules are always changing. So trying to determine which is the right door to go through, and you go through that door and you think that's the last door, maybe the third to last door, and you go through that door and oh, maybe there's 2 more doors you didn't know about.
Despite this, the process was relatively smooth compared with the usual bureaucracy associated with international adoptions. What really made the difference for them was directly adopting their daughter Abby from the Nepalese government.
We did what's called a private adoption, really, as we didn't hire an agency to do it. But in one situation with our oldest daughter Abby, we hired a local lawyer from that country who was already very active in children's issues and women's issues, and she helped us to get the paperwork through the appropriate offices to finish the process.
Twins Sadie and Seth were similarly adopted.
Same situation. They're actually in the care of some of our friends who had taken care of some of the earlier procedures. So as soon as we arrived at their house, we began to bring them into our home.
It's to be red, right?
The couple are one of more than roughly 8,000 American parents who adopt in Asia every year.
But unlike their decision to adopt directly, a majority use mediators to locate children in government orphanages.
Most adopted babies are from China, Cambodia, and Vietnam. While China is a signatory to the Hague Convention on Inter-Country Adoptions, an international agreement setting standards to protect children, birth parents, and adoptive parents, it has yet to put it in practice. Meanwhile, Cambodia and Vietnam are not signatories to the agreement. Rights campaigners blame weak adoption laws and standards for the growing problem of baby trafficking in the region.
It has, arrested the concern of UNICEF, and countering trafficking is one of the major programs of UNICEF at present.
In the past few years, all 3 countries have been plagued by baby trafficking. Babies are either bought, stolen, or acquired through false pretenses from their biological parents. In Vietnam, adoption documents were found to be so fraudulent, France suspended adoptions by its nationals for several years. They only resumed after Vietnam said it would improve its screening process. Adoptions by American couples have been stalled since December 2001, when the U.S. stopped issuing entry visas for orphans after suspect cases arose in Cambodia and Vietnam. A U.S. immigration official told us the move was justified because there were, quote, too many kids on the market in lesser developed countries where parents don't want to wait in line and end up short-circuiting the system. He added that, quote, players in the system were corrupt. He cited one case in hospital where a Vietnamese woman's baby was taken away immediately after birth for an apparent medical emergency. That was the last time the mother saw her newborn, until months later when U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service officials with Vietnamese investigators, tracked the baby down just moments before the healthy child was to board a flight to America with its American adoptive parents.
So there are rings or networks of intermediates, for example, coming to the mother, to pregnant mothers, or to buy children, for example.
And where are the mothers?
Mothers, they come from the urban poor.
Other reports indicate some babies are sourced from poor rural communities in Vietnam's most remote provinces.
But in early 2000, an unprecedented trial took place in the country. It was here in An Giang province that the provincial court prosecuted 9 people for selling nearly 200 babies for illegal adoption abroad.
I think there have been several scandals involving local authorities and police officers and medical staff and people working at the orphanages involving and in producing fake papers and then arranging adoption for financial gains, and many of them have been prosecuted or imprisoned.
In August 2002, Vietnamese authorities arrested 8 people, including a police officer, for supplying newborn babies to foreign families. The Ho Chi Minh-based syndicate offered mothers $250 to $500 for their babies. Vietnam's Justice Ministry says more investigations are underway, with cases involving local adoption authorities. The spate of baby trading cases, though, hasn't put off those hoping to adopt. One American couple we spoke to in Ho Chi Minh City only succeeded at their 3rd attempt after losing $35,000 to alleged government-approved mediators. If the couple had adopted in the United States, the wait could have been up to 10 years. The INS says that's exactly why Asia is the most popular destination for couples. U.S. officials say the process in developing countries can take less than a year.
I think trafficking of children, making use of inter-country adoption. It's not only in Vietnam, but in other Asian countries as well. You can see in the Philippines, in Thailand, in other developing countries.
Washington has started a pilot program with various governments in the region in pre-identifying orphans, so the baby screening and documentation process can be expedited for all parties involved. As that happens, people like Vu Ngoc Binh are trying to educate the public about the problem of baby trafficking. He personally visits villagers and the urban poor to try and help them make informed choices about their baby's future.
The empowerment of women, the family, and not only women, but also the family, the community, the authority, local authorities at all levels. And then to know about the adoption, what is right, what is wrong, what are the legal provision, for example, and then also legal education, legal information for especially, as you have mentioned, the poor family, rural families.
And for parents like Sherry and Ben, what's their advice to those interested in adopting in Asia?
It's a great experience, and I think there are a lot of children who need homes. But as far as advice to those who actually start the process, I think the first thing I would say is not to give up.
You sure? What if you fall like that?
No! No!
Many things undefined that you just have to walk through yourself, and when you get on the plane finally and the plane takes off from the tarmac, you look back and you know every minute of the difficulty was worth it.